I'm right or whether I'm wrong, whether I find the place in the world or never belong, I've gotta be me.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Tony Martini, My 50-Year Journey, starring the man, the myth, the legend himself, Tony Martini. I am Aaron Phillips, alongside my everyday partner on the radio and business partner and good friend, Mr. Ricky Cash, is here in studio as we get to sit side by side with the man, the incomparable Tony Martini. How are you, sirs?
I'm good after all that.
You like that? That was a 35-minute introduction. Thank you very much. We'll be back with half the show right after this. Well, welcome. We want to welcome all of our listeners to the Tony Martini, My 50-Year Journey show with special guest author Carolynn Milne. Listen to the Angels Speak. She'll be calling in or Skyping in from Australia, hopefully momentarily, to join us, and she's going to be sharing with us the travels of her book, which of course is now available on Amazon. Listen, The Angels Speak. And music from Tony today, and it's beautiful in Las Vegas, considering I was away this past weekend, Mr. Cash, in 12-degree weather. I'm defrosting here in the near 80 degrees here in Vegas.
You must have loved that.
12 degrees. I landed Friday morning. The pilot said, local time 6 a.m., current temperature 12 degrees. The plane was so hot because the pilot didn't put the air thing on well. I couldn't wait to get into the rampway with no jacket on to cool off because how warm the plane was. 12 degrees was actually exciting. But I'm glad to be home, back into the routine again. And here we are on another Tuesday afternoon with the incomparable Tony Martini joining us. How are you, sir?
You know, so good to be back. We did our hiatus.
Yes, we did.
And now you're all well. I'm all well.
We're as well as we could be.
Ricky's all well.
As we say, the 50-year journey is now continuing.
And it's revived. Very helpful.
This is a good thing. Because it's now closer to 53-year journey, isn't it?
That's a good point, Mr. Cash.
We've been around you've been around much longer than that.
We're actually celebrating our 6th year this week, March 13th.
Oh, happy birthday.
6 years, absolutely.
That's almost St. Pat's Day, isn't it?
Yeah, St. Pat's is what, Monday next week?
Yep.
Week from yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
No, actually Tuesday, I believe.
What's today, the 10th?
Yeah.
Yeah, next Tuesday. Right, because you're heading out of town.
Yes, I am.
I have Vegas Unwrapped all to myself this next week. Next week, not this week.
Well,
next week.
And you have Tony by yourself next week.
So next couple of weeks.
2 weeks, I'll be away, right?
Wow.
So we got to do something Irish.
2 Jews and Italian. What can we do that's Irish?
You're call me Black Irish.
He's wearing green. Isn't he wearing green?
Not even with your good eye is that green.
It's not green.
No.
Is it brown?
It's gray.
It's like taupe.
It's Italian. It's from Italy. It's an Italian gray.
Looks green to me. If I saw it in my closet next Tuesday, I would take that out and think I was celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've just learned how blind Mr. Cash really is.
Well, I'll tell you, I got it from Mastriani's maybe 20 years ago.
Okay.
And I got a yellow, not yellow, but almost yellow.
Right.
And I got black for the Italians. Naturally, they all think we're mafia. And I got this. you know how Tony originated, right?
Absolutely.
But how?
Absolutely. I mean, you're all black.
Tony is to New York.
But all right. So to New York, everybody coming over to Ellis Island. They were wearing a hat, a cap, whatever, and it had Tony.
Right.
So they called everybody Tony. And there you have it. If anybody argues that point, go to Ellis Island, and it's all over the place.
There you go.
Including all my grandparents' stuff.
Absolutely. Hey, if you want to chime in and talk to Tony, ask for a song or whatever, 702-483-4444 is our studio line. We want to also give a shout-out to everybody that will listen on the podcast or on our YouTube. We want to thank G Cubed for taking care of our camera work today, as always, as he did last week. Bobcat is behind the board with us again. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Tony. Good to be back with you.
Thank you so much.
You know, we
do such a great job.
Thank you, sir.
You thought Phillips and Cash love you.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Not
Are
even
you
close.
kidding?
Bobcat has outscored us on the We Love Tony meter.
He's a big fan. I mean, he listens to your CD every Sunday.
Yep. That's
And
all.
Oh, my
Wake up.
God.
And that's really good.
I have to give him a gift.
Take it,
That's
Carolyn's book. Diane and I, Miss Bobcat, and I will treasure this.
There you
Put it in
go.
our
It
collection.
would
Yes, sir.
be,
Thank you, sir.
I'd be a bit remiss if I didn't give you something because you're really a pro.
Well, thank you, sir, and I appreciate the to be able to tag along the 50-year journey because entertainers like you are not alive in Vegas anymore, and if they are, they sure don't come out anymore because a true legend right here, and some of the new people in this business could take some lessons from this gentleman right here.
Oh, boy,
Thank
you
you.
hit the nail on the head. I mean,
Wow.
the only other, well, we've met a few. Obviously, Tony, certainly his career is a wonderful journey. Some of it not definitely in a safe place, right?
Yeah, no.
Your journey has gone through some 2 wars,
Yeah, Korea.
right?
Then when I was finishing my tour of Australasia, from Australia to Japan, I figured I'd stop for 2 weeks in Vietnam, and it ended up being about
What?
6.5, 7 years.
Almost 7 years.
Yeah. No voice left.
Well, sure.
Yeah, I had to go do chlorophyll drops in Hong Kong to get it back. So if you guys ever lose your voice, I'm giving you a tip. Instead of that pad you have to write on because you can't speak,
Right.
get chlorophyll.
Interesting.
Isn't that what's in plants?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Right? So it's like an aloe, sort of?
Absolutely, yeah.
Nice.
Chlorophyll. I mean, I remember toothpaste commercials back in the 50s and 60s about chlorophyll in toothpaste.
Now, Cash, don't mix it up with chloroform. I don't want you passed out on the floor.
I can't forget our cameraman here.
Yes,
G
Ryan.
cubed.
We call him G cubed.
Yeah, but he's Ryan.
Yeah,
he's
he's,
right.
he's so with it, you know.
He's the man.
He's about my son's age, so I'm happy to have him here because he's extremely talented.
I would be your man.
There you go.
Extremely talented.
There you go.
My son's doing well.
Yes, what's up with Anthony?
He just
See, he's another Tony.
Well, but he doesn't like being called Tony, though.
No.
Well, I learned that
No,
early
he's
on.
Anthony
I know that.
W. Martini, Whitson Martini. He's he won Voice of the Year with the symphony, you know that. Then the Metropolitan Opera auditioned him for the chorus, and he won top voice. So he's going to do a master's degree after he gets his Bachelor of Arts at Point Loma, where he practically runs the opera and Broadway stuff there with his all the people that work the opera works, they call it. Okay, so he's doing very well. He's going to get his master's degree. We don't know where yet, but to be announced by you guys.
Oh, cool.
Looking forward to that.
By the way, you can check out Tony Martini on Facebook. Believe it or not, he's still out there. Look up Tony Martini 50-year journey. And by the way, since last week's show aired, Mr. Martini, you've added 24 new fans.
I have?
Yes, we're closing in on 300 fans. Your page sat very quiet, but I kept managing it, just massaging it while we were not on the air, and I kept it live, and then, of course, we hit the airwaves, and I was posting we're back on the air. 24 new fans this week. We are 23 fans away from an even 300. So let's get out there, please, and let's like the Tony Martini 50-year journey. And you can't miss it because there's Tony smiling behind a microphone and, of course, the show logo of Tony Martini, My 50-Year Journey. So check it out on Facebook.
I will have to go to that site tonight and send all Ricky Cash's
Send
friends.
all of it, absolutely.
towards- There are a lot of same as Aaron Phillips friends, but we have some differences.
We have a couple.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, just about six. About six of them. That's about it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Tony's show on YouTube is part of the Vegas Unwrapped channel. Just go to youtube.com, Unwrapped 2010, and you'll see last week's show up there. And, of course, Tony's show page here on Vegas All Net Radio. If you missed our opening show last week, we had some great music. We'll play some more music today. Hopefully, Carolynn will be checking with us on Skype here in a few minutes. So you just...
Why don't we...
yes.
Oh, I didn't mean to.
That's okay. It's your show.
Senor.
It's your show. I'm just riding the coattails.
You're the best. You're my brother, you know that. So is Ricky. I call them my family now. I thought that maybe we'd start with something I did for my brother when he passed away. Not to... This is not a negative point. This is a very optimistic point that I believe he's always listening to me. Okay? So I did Impossible Dream because it was his favorite song.
Okay.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow the star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will life peaceful and calm when I'm late to my rest, and the world will be better for this. That one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable stars. This glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest, and the world will be better for this. That one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable stars.
The Impossible Dream by Tony Martini in honor of his brother.
Thank you.
Well
for
done.
allowing me to do that. Yeah.
Well, it's your show. You can do whatever you want. We're just here on the mics, man. You just tell us what you want. We make it happen. No, that's great. And that will be available, it'll be available on the podcast for those who did not hear it live. And so if you want to hear it again, it'll be on YouTube. But, we still have some of the Tony Martini, My 50-Year Journey CDs available. So if you're interested in getting a copy of his latest CD, you can email us through vegasunwrapped@gmail.com, or you can post a message on Tony's Facebook page. And as we're sitting here playing that music, you got 3 more fans that jumped on. So the number's getting there, Tony. We're still reaching people.
Please.
We're still reaching the masses here.
Thank you.
All right. Let's. You want to step aside for our first break? Maybe we can make a quick call to Carolyn and see what's going on with Carolyn in Australia.
We will do that.
All right. You're listening to the Tony Martini, My 50-Year Journey show here on Vegas All Night Radio with Phillips and Cash. Kind of just playing the wings here for Mr. Tony. Bobcat on the board, GQ behind the camera, and you, the listener. We'll be back with more with Tony right after this.
Whether I find
Whether I'm right. How can you not want to just start singing to Tony's music, Mr. Cash?
I'm glad it's.
I do every Sunday morning.
I do in the shower, I have to admit. I tap Tony's CD on my phone, so.
Does your wife tell you to shut up like mine does?
No, she just turns the water louder.
Oh, okay.
Incidentally, I went to a beautiful home right by out on the west side. Just gorgeous. It was Bob Wendell's birthday. It was a couple of days early, and we brought our staff from work, a special department of VIP staff, and we had a great piano player. Dean was a classical piano player. We had his son playing guitar. We had Ray playing guitar. We had Andre, who really did sing enough for me, and because I love him so much. And I ended up singing with the classical pianist, Dean, who is a senior guy in our business, real estate business, okay? And I thought that we did a good job, you know. They kept saying sing another one, you know. So I ended up singing, got my voice back in shape. But today it's not. It sounds like it's scratchy.
Nah, you're always in good voice.
Yeah, God takes care of me. You know, he says, no, we got to make Tony sound good tonight, no matter what. Did you hear that, Tony?
That's right.
Yeah, I heard it.
The first run with Tony that we did when we were on our very first station, Cash and I, you know, every week Tony comes down. We were kind of doing the same format. Well, we're driving on 95, getting off at the Boulevard, getting ready to head down to the old station, which was down over like Bonneville in Maryland, right? So you know what part, you know where the neighborhood was.
Oh, yeah.
Fine group of folks. Yes, down there.
Yes, well guarded.
We've actually graduated, Ricky and Phil.
That's right.
For the most part, have actually graduated into a very historic building.
That's right.
This building, I'm told, was one of the first buildings in Las Vegas, and it handles not only radio stations but movies, people producing movies, etc., etc., etc. And there's about 10 stations ballpark here, something like that.
No, we got 9 in our group, so
right,
well,
exactly.
8 plus this one, so that's 9 in our group.
So
yeah.
I'm pretty close there.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful place to be because I feel the vibes here when I'm walking by all the different stations, you know? I got directors here. I got producers here. Well, I got my own producers right here, too.
wow.
You know, I got my own cameraman, my sound man. You guys are great. So I just want to throw that out there. This isn't a room at somebody's house.
No, not like our first
That's the
studio.
real deal.
Right, exactly.
So finish up that part of the story.
So-
because I know it's coming.
You know it's coming.
Sure.
So we're literally minutes from the studio, 30 minutes from going on the air, because we were on at 7 o'clock with Tony before we did Vegas Unwrapped back then. And I get this call, and I see Tony's name come up on my cell phone. Aaron, it's Tony. Hi, Tony. What's up? I'm not feeling very good. I got no voice. 30 minutes from showtime, right?
So I hit him in the side and I said to him, so what time is he going to get here? Because we weren't doing a Tony Martini show without Tony Martini.
Thank God Tony Martini has great music to play. Because I think we played just about every song we had for that 30 minutes. And we actually told stories because
Right. It was an hour.
We know a lot of Tony's backstory. That was probably the most challenging show, was how do you replace a legend, someone who's incomparable in his own right, and do a show about him without him.
Without any beating.
Yeah, well, you know, I keep
With no
telling-
prep time, that's what I want to mention.
Yeah.
I keep complimenting you guys. You, to me, have the perfect voice for announcing and putting a show together. And my historian is Rick here. And the other guys that run the room, actually, with sound and camera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's a real deal, you know.
We got the A-team rocking for you. We don't put no B-plus players in the Tony Martini show, you know.
Very few people can do what you guys do. I thank you for that.
We'll never do anything to disgrace the
And my voice is almost gone right now.
Yeah, but Tony, that night on the phone was we looked at Cash. I looked at Cash, and he looked at me. It's like, what are we going to do for 30 minutes? In 30 minutes for an hour show. But we pulled. I have that show on archive somewhere. I should pull it up one of these days as a classic show to see how.
A reminder of just how weak we were back then.
Jeez. But anyway, all right. So Tony.
Yeah.
So we're still waiting for Carolyn. Maybe something's going on. She may have gotten caught up with some author duties or something. So I don't know what's happening there.
Well, did you tell the people that we're doing this all the way from Australia?
No, I didn't. But why don't you share it?
Yeah, that could be complicated. We're going across to another world almost. And I spent a year in Australia.
Yeah.
Entertaining. And that's how I met Carolyn. I met her and her dad, Ted. And I don't know why I remember this stuff. And when they spotted me where I am currently doing some real estate, they said, Tony Martini, I remember you from the old days. Well, I'm old. And lo and behold, she mentioned what she was doing, and then the light went on and it says, hey, why don't you do our show, my show, whatever. Mm-hmm. And we'll call it the Carolynn Milne show, promoting her book, Listen the Angels Speak, which is very, very exciting. You should all go out right now and check the bookstores, Amazon, whoever you want to go to, okay? And we were going to speak about the angels and how this all, who they are, and hopefully we may do that probably if she doesn't show today because of technical problems. I'm blaming it on technical. It's going across the ocean, past the equator, and it's not easy for something to tangle up.
Well, here's the good news.
Go.
I pulled up Skype, and I see she's actually on Skype on her end, so hopefully she'll be able to patch in here momentarily. So that's
great.
good news. So she's halfway there.
All right, I'll make a call right here. I'm doing the call.
There you go.
All right, go ahead.
Skype it in. Anyway, so Tony's worked out in Australia, gave you the opportunity to meet with Carolyn, and you kind of hit it off when you met her. Now her book is available on Amazon right now, so you can certainly check.
Actually, to interrupt you.
Yeah.
They're almost out of the book in Oregon.
Really?
Only 2 left.
In Oregon?
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's
Yeah, I got that from a very dear friend of mine, Nancy.
okay.
Hi, Nancy.
I have it on good authority that currently on the Tony Martini Skype line is our guest, Carolynn Milne. How are you, Carolyn?
Hello, how are you?
Good. We were nervous. We were hoping everything was okay. That
We were worried
about you.
Yeah.
You must have been off.
I think I've lost track of the time a little bit this morning. I thought I had another 5 minutes.
Well, being the entrepreneur that you are, and you definitely are, we appreciate you. Whatever you're late, it's no big deal. We thank you for being on. So anyway, I got a notice, text message that you were sold out at Amazon in Oregon, except for 2 books. So I need
Wow.
you were sold out except for 2, and they're gone now. But
gone now.
so you have to contact your people there.
I have to
And-
contact them and tell them to print more, or
Yeah,
okay.
definitely. The books went very quickly, from what I understand, in Oregon. So this is right by Ashland and Medford, in that area. I want to
Yeah.
give you the zone that's really focused on. But I spend a lot of time singing in Oregon, and I have many, many friends there. And they might be listening to the show right now. I could say hi to Dr. Ware and his lovely wife. He's my dentist for many years, and all the other people that I performed for. But it's about you. It's about the angels. And what I did today was I got together with Phil and Ricky, and the guys don't even know this, but they will now. We wanted to talk about your angels in particular. Not all of them. But we want to touch base so that you can actually represent what you do in your own way. Is that a fair question?
yes,
Or
that's
fair
very
statement?
fair. Yeah.
Yeah, we would
Yeah.
love you to do that. Like Michael, I know, is the angel of love.
Yeah.
And we can start with love if you want. Love is a great thing. How are you?
I can't. Yeah, I'm really good. I'm really happy here.
How's your
I've had
dad?
a lovely week. I've been teaching and doing all sorts of things this week.
Yeah, the
And,
people. I don't think they're aware that you actually have people that come to you, and they sit with you, and you do your thing, and that's a marvelous thing. Yeah. Say hi to Ted also for me. Okay.
I will say hi to Ted.
Please.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to let you lead us right now about the statement that I made. Do you like that idea?
Yes, that's a very good idea. Archangel Michael would be wonderful.
All right. We'll start.
Archangel Michael does a lot more than just the love. Archangel Michael does a lot of clearing and cutting cords. A lot of he can help us with emotional problems when we're breaking up, especially. It doesn't have to be the breakup of a romance or a marriage even, but it can be just a friendship breakup that is very hurtful. If we're connected with our psychic cords, and as soon as we sit down face to face with somebody and talk to them, even if it's just a casual work colleague, we then connect psychic cords to them, and this is how we exchange our feelings and our thoughts. But when we're married to someone for many years, or very close friends for many years, these cords become very big and very thick. And if there's a breakup, then our emotions flowing down those psychic cords are very, very strong. And they cause the other person a great disruption in their life. They become angry or hurt. They're taking on your feelings. Then they send them back down the cord to you. And it's like a vicious cycle. And both parties are being dragged down into it. And some people will say to me when I'm doing the marriage breakup counselling, but I don't even like the man anymore. Why am I feeling like this? And it's because of these psychic cords. So you can just ask Archangel Michael to cut those cords. And by cutting those cords, you cut off so much of that negative emotion, and then you're left much more peaceful in this really horrible time of your life. You gain a lot more peace. But it's good to cut all your cords even when you're not having a breakup, so that you know that all your thoughts and feelings are your own. I think we've all had thoughts and feelings from one time or another that we realise were not really ours. So Archangel Michael's the go-to guy for all of that sort of thing.
Carolyn, I have a couple of questions that I'd like to ask you, but they will roll right past our break. So what we'd like to do now is just take a quick break, come back, and I'm going to ask you, like I said, some questions, because in reading this, I need a little bit of clarification, if you will. Okay?
Good. I'm happy with clarification.
All right. We'll be back then, right after this.
Back. Okay. Thank you.
Where do I find the place in the world or never belong?
All right, welcome back to the Tony Martini, my 50-year journey with special guest author Carolynn Milne. Listen to the angels speak all the way from Australia. That's right. We are purely international on this show. We pull no punches around here. We go all out for the best author and guests. How's that?
Great.
It's like she's in the next room.
I'm telling you. Carolynn, how you doing over there?
It is, yeah. It's just so clear. It's
Well, that's
lovely.
good.
It's absolutely beautiful to hear you guys.
Are you having morning coffee or tea or something right now, too?
Not quite yet.
Not yet.
Not quite yet. But soon, very soon.
I want to let
I'm
the
going to
list-
have my coffee.
I want to let the listeners realize what we had to do to coordinate this, because it is 3:35 p.m. Pacific time in Las Vegas. It is Tuesday, March 10th, but we're actually having a conversation into the future, as it is 9:30 a.m. Wednesday, March 11th, Australia time for Carolynn. Plus, I just went through a 3-hour time change back and forth over the last 3 days, so I really don't know what month it is right now myself. That's another question.
I told you we woke her up.
My head's still buzzing from the stock car, so I don't even know what town I'm in anymore.
Well, it's good to have you back with us, Carolynn. And I just posted on Tony's Facebook page and Vegas Unwrapped page the link to Amazon so that when they get more books in stock, people can go right to the link to purchase the books. So so we're spreading the word. So anyway, Mr. Cash, I want to throw it back to you because you had some inquiring mind questions. For Carolynn.
Carolynn, I'm looking at your book right now, and of course I immediately turned it over because I wanted to see the backstory. And the backstory is so fascinating. You're sitting there talking with somebody, and the next thing you know, you're talking like it's not you anymore. And I found that fascinating. Let me ask you this. Prior to being spoken to for the first time by the angels, did you know about the existence of angels prior to that?
Oh, I've always believed in angels, but it never occurred to me that they would speak through me like that. That was, it took me quite a while, you know. I had to go and sit down and have a cup of tea, but then it just kept going. The voice kept coming through me. My voice was different. It was like it was echoing. When I'm chilling very deeply, it's like it's echoing through a pipe. It comes differently, and it's a very strange sensation. And for the first time, it was quite scary. When it happened for the first time,
Most of the angels that I've seen written in the book, to me, somebody who's not studied this, I was fascinated by where did they come from? Does most of the angels and their names, are they coming from the New Testament?
No, some of these angels that I have coming through me, I have never heard of before. And often I think, I've never heard of that angel, where did that come from? And then I'll read it somewhere else from somebody else. So they are there, but a lot of it is stuff that had never studied angels. I didn't know what it was all about. And some of the names in the Old Testament or the New Testament are slightly different to the names they're using today. I'm not sure whether it's just our spelling of them or that we're not Hebrew or something of that nature. But a lot of the spellings, like Azrael is also, Raziel is also, there's about 4 different spellings and varieties of his name that people use. So it's all quite confusing, really, quite confusing. Some people have done great studies on it and have listed them all, and I really take my hat off to that because I think that'd be a tremendous task to do.
In fact, it's just fascinating hearing your take on this. Did you ever ask yourself after you started getting messages? Did you ever say to yourself, "Why me"?
Why me over and over and over again? Why me? You know, I'm just an ordinary person. Why me? Why me? And apparently I've been prepared for this for millions of years. So they've been getting me ready to do this job.
Wow.
And so I can see past lifetimes and the lessons I've learned in those past lifetimes, how they relate to what I'm doing now. So it's all... Everything happens in divine and perfect timing, and it's very hard to understand that when we're going through something really, really nasty, that it has all been ordained and we have it signed off on it when we wrote our life lesson, our life journey. But when you're in it, you can't think, this is my higher good, or I have planned this. It just never occurs to you. But in actual fact, 10 years, 20 years down the track, even the loss of a loved one, you can see that there was a reason. You can see, well, even if you can't see it, you can then come to accept that it was their time to move on to the next phase of their evolution.
Again,
it's very hard for us to understand.
It's fascinating. So let me ask you this. Are your conversations with the angels one way? Or are you able to call them up when you want to speak to them? And I don't mean that facetiously.
What do you think, she has a long-distance call?
Well, no, because I know she's heard from, because I've read some of this, and she's heard from so many of the different angels. I was wondering, how to can you get back to one? I mean, if you're busy at that time of day, I mean, seriously, I'm fascinated by, how do you prepare yourself? Do you know when it's going to come, or does it just happen like it did the first time when you were just sitting there talking to your friends?
It does just happen sometimes. And I think they're going to come through now in answer to that question. It is that easy. And I'll just quieten my mind for a little bit and see who's going to come through. So they do come, not so much on command, but I'm always very respectful when I ask. And I'm just saying, can I have a message now? And they're saying, yes, you can have a message now. I'm saying, can I have a message from Archangel Michael as a very special request for Tony?
Thank you.
And Archangel Michael comes through with a beautiful, cool energy, and he's coming through now. Love is all there is. He always says love is all there is. Love is all there is, Carolynn. And we are working through Vegas Unwrapped to bring love to the world. Love and understanding. Without the understanding, there can be no love. Humanity must come to understand love. The unconditional love of the divine. There can be no understanding without faith. Faith, love and understanding for all humanity. At this time, this will move the earth into its new stage, its new phase of evolution. The age of miracles. The age of miracles is come. Blessings of love to all. Blessings of love and light. And as I'm saying this to you, I feel this beautiful, cool white light coming through. And I can see Archangel Michael in all his glory off to my right-hand side. Just beautiful, just glorious light. And he's cutting my cords. I must have needed to cut my own cords and had forgotten to do it this morning. He's gone.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was just a little. Maybe I wasn't quite concentrating enough, but I think that was pretty accurate.
Well, you got this audience who just.
Well, we're mesmerized. We're all sitting here. I'm watching. I've got from my seat here in the studio. I have a view of you on the Skype, and it was like. It was like a transformation. Your eyes were closed, you were speaking, but it sounded like it was something else. It was great, just terrific.
Ryan, did you get it on a video?
Yeah.
Did you get this on video? And when you watched the playback, okay, when she started, her right side of her face did not have light on it until she got about halfway through her speaking right there, and the white came right. And I know, Ryan, wait till you see this on the playback, okay?
Cool.
I saw it. I saw it. And, it's amazing. Good job, Carolynn.
And job is
it's a beautiful job.
Yeah.
Did great.
Tell Michael we
You
appreciate
can have a
it.
better job than that. Yeah.
Usually silence on the radio is not a good thing, but in this particular case, as we were all listening to the message and the pauses that were there, I think just added to the climax of what was happening. And like Bobcat said, to appreciate what was happening, I can't wait to see it on the YouTube playback. So All right, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to let Carolynn catch her breath there for a second. We're going to step aside for our last break of the show. When we come back, we'll wrap up with Carolynn and maybe a little music from Tony on the way out, and then we'll be back right after this commercial message.
Oh, whether I'm wrong.
Go. All right, welcome back to Vegas Unwrapped. Aaron Phillips, Ricky Cash, Bob Cat behind the board, GQ behind the camera, the incomparable Tony Martini here in studio, and all the way from Australia, Miss Carolynn Milne, author of Listen, the Angels Speak, and she just gave us a message from Archangel Michael.
That was fascinating. You could hear a pin drop in this in the studio here, and from what I can't wait to see the video on it because we only have one large video in the room facing the gentleman running the board. But her eyes were closed.
Right.
There was definite silence everywhere, and you could see a light come through on her face.
On the right side,
on the right
which
side.
is where she said he was there.
Ricky saw the video, and our engineers and cameraman also did, and they're still in awe here. They're sitting here dumbfounded.
And that to get us to stop talking is a miracle, and that's our first one we've had in quite a while.
I'm so happy. Let me thank her personally. I want to thank you, dear. We love that message that you put out there to the universe, and we appreciate it very much, especially for me. Thank you so much. Here's my way for you and all, okay? And
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway, but more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, but much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall, and did it my way. Of love, laughed and cried. I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what's a man? What's he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blow and did it my way. Yes, it was my way. Thank you.
We got him doing live that ending. We got him. Carolynn, we're out of time for this week's show. God bless you. We'll look forward to having you back on the air next week with us. Hope you enjoyed that song from Tony.
I loved that song from Tony, and thank you, guys. I loved the whole show.
Oh, thank
you very
so
much.
much.
Thank you so
We
much
love you.
for checking in. Say hi to everybody in Australia for Tony, and we'll be back at it next week, same time, same bat channel.
Okay.
Thanks,
See you later in
Carolynn. You bet.
Vegas. Bye-bye.
Carolynn Milne, all the way from Australia, and Tony doing his thing. We got you at that part there, partner. I had him bring up the mic, and we got you, man. So another week in the books. Can you believe it that we are another week in on the Tony Martini show next week?
That went by so fast.
We'll be well, time flies when you're having fun, Tony, right? All right, what do we have, Bobcat? 30 seconds? All right, just want to remind everybody real quickly, Thursday night, Vegas Unwrapped, 7 to 9 p.m. right here in Vegas on that radio. Every Tuesday right here, 3 to 4 p.m.
We're also going to be guests.
Oh, we're going to be guests on the Corey Taylor Talk Show from 6 to 7 this Thursday. Tune into Corey's show.
They're not letting us out of the studio.
No, thank you for listening. YouTube archives will be up. Thank you so much. Next week, Tony Martini, My 50-Year Journey, continues with you, the listener. Have a great week.
But gold won't bring you happiness, not when you're growing old.